So this is, I believe, the first time they've ever done that. Definitely big news. When I first heard it, I was extremely excited. You know, with all things, I just wanted to look at some of the numbers. Here's what I did. I took all of this info and I entered it into Excel, and I looked at last year compared to this coming year for the Elite Series, for the Classic, for Angler of the Year, and then I applied it to all 101 or 103 anglers and saw, I wanted to just look at the data. I'm not going to give you guys my opinion. I'm just going to keep it strictly numbers based and let you guys decide what you guys think. So you can see, this page is where all the data is entered, and then this page is where it's all going to, get pulled to. All right, so let's take a look at the Excel sheet that I made to try to break this down and look at some of these numbers here. So you've got the Elite Series, Bassmaster Classic, Angler of the Year, and then any changes. So we look at the total for the year, which was 6.7 million. 2025, it's going to be 3.7 million. The difference just being the entry fees. 750,000 this year per event. Now payouts are 340,000, a difference of 413. Again, mostly the entry fees not included. Big bass, daily big bass, big bag, daily big bass, overall big bass, bass track stay the same, except for daily big bass is now going to be $4,000, which is a $3,000 increase. And then we just look at the changes here, right? So 2024, this column shows you with the entry fees included, you're going to have a difference of $5,000, right? So the guy who wins 35 is going to be taking home 30, and the guy who wins 30 is going to be taking home 25, right? And so now 2025, that's going to remain the same down to 10th place, so there's no change there, but the guy who wins is taking home 5,000 more. The guys from 11th to 18th are actually going to be taking home a little more, but then once you get below 20th place, there's a decrease in the amount that's actually paid out, right? And so you look at, normally it's paid out 10 grand down to 50th, and you get total payout down to 71st. Now you're only getting paid out to 40th place, and you can see in this column the difference there, which becomes a little bit more as you go down, right? Now it's only $2,500, and we're getting $2,500 back because we're not paying that entry fee. Bassmaster Classic, you see a difference of $250,000 decrease, assuming these remain the same. And then you also have all of these other entries, these payouts here. So Bassmaster Classic, usually you get 10 grand for making the Bassmaster Classic, but now you're going to see a change. It's $2,500 all the way up to top 25, and then it increases from there. But you can see a little bit of a difference in payout there. The top 10 remain the same down to even 11th place. And then Angler of the Year, they're only paying out top 5, whereas it was paying 40th place. It is still 100 grand for first place. So, that's good, but you do only have 5th being paid out instead of the top 40, which is really probably the biggest change this year. And then net payout, so like 8.5 million this year, plus entry fees, or minus entry fees, based on 101 anglers, the net payout was 3.9 million. 2025, it's going to be 4.1 million, and then no entry fees, so it's actually a increase of $200,000, about a 2% increase. So let's take a look at the angler page now. The anglers page, I put all 100 anglers in to this sheet, all the way down to 103, and I put what everybody's finishes were for all 9 events, including the Classic and including AOY. So you can see in the blue, if you finished in 7th, 38th, 25th, your payout was 18, 10, 13. And then next year, based on what it was presented, we are looking at 13, 500, 12,000. So blue is this year, purple's next year, and then it's all totaled right here. So this is this year. Chris Johnson won AOI, so $253,000. Next year, with our $45,000 entry fee added into that amount, right? Because we're getting that back. That's essentially guaranteed money. We're not having to put that out. And then we look at the difference, plus or minus, and the percentage, plus or minus. So, you know, you're looking at, for the top 10, the top 10 guys, you're looking at an average of $17,000 less per person, which is an average of 11% less per person, just based on same results, same finishes, the total amount. You know, if you want to look at the next 10 guys, so 11th through 20th, you're looking at an average of $12,000 less per person, or an average of 11% less. Again, I'm not giving you my opinion. I'm just going to give you straight facts and numbers here. And we can look at the entire picture. So if we want to look at, you know, top 50, so top 50 guys are going to get an average of $11,000 less per person, with an average of 10% less. You know, and then that's when you start going towards the bottom is when you start seeing it, you know, really helping guys out. So, you know, if you go down to the very bottom, you know, you're looking at, let's look at the bottom. I won't include Clint since he didn't actually finish the whole season, but, you know, you're looking at the bottom 103, so it's 103 to 93. So you're looking at the bottom 10 guys, an increase in $26,983, so $27,000 increase, and an average increase of, I mean, 191%, you know, so they're making substantially, you know, more money. You know, if you look at the bottom 25 guys, let's do 25, an increase of $21,000, you know, or an increase of basically doubling their money on average, or at least like 100%. So, you know, it certainly seems to benefit the bottom half of the field way more than it does the top half of the field, just looking at the numbers. You know, and then on the bottom here, so this does not include small contingencies. It doesn't include the daily bass, big bass, you know, $1,000, $2,000 for each of those events for the people. But if you're looking at the top 50 guys, on average, they're going to make $553,000 less. And the bottom 50 guys are going to make $876,000 more. So, you know, top 10, $176,000 less. 11th through 20th, $145,000 less. $200,000 less. 81, $9,000 less. Or I mean, $9,000 more. So once you get below the top 40 is who it seems to affect the most. And then once you get below 40th is when you start to see that increase, you know, and that makes the most sense because the guys that didn't do that well, who are getting their entry fees back, are getting the most money back. You know, the biggest help is going to be the guys 90th through 100th. And even just the last, you know, 3 guys, you know, it's going to help a lot. So, you know, take that for what it is. Like I said, I'm not going to give you guys my opinion, my thoughts. I like to be analytical. I like to just look at the numbers. I'm just going to present the numbers based on, you know, what we have for 2025 going into that season. You know, again, it affects guys differently. Someone like myself, I finished 37th. You know, I am going to make, it says $2,000 less, 3% decrease. You know, it's basically a wash at that point. And I do have the peace of mind of not having to pay the entry fees, but, you know, it is $2,000 less. So, you know, there are pros and cons to every situation, and for everybody it's different here. But, yeah, I'm going to try to refrain from any opinion on this. Really just show the numbers. I'm going to link this Excel sheet if you want to take a look for yourself. So you can take a look at the payouts. You can look at for the Elite Series, the Classic, AOI, compare the 2 years, and then you can take a look for all of the different anglers from this year to next year and what the net increase or decrease is going to be for take-home pay. End of the year, these 9 events in the Classic, you guys can download this link and take a look for yourself and see, what your thoughts are. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and yeah, have a good one.